This story is titled, My Boyfriend Always Prioritizes His Friends Over Me and Cancels Our Plans at the Last Minute. I never thought I'd find myself feeling like an afterthought in my own relationship. My name is Rachel, and I'm 34 years old. I live in a cozy apartment just outside of Chicago, where the skyline lights up the night like tiny stars fallen to earth. I have a stable career, a warm home, and what I thought was a loving relationship with my boyfriend, Mark. Mark and I have been together for almost 2 years. We met at a mutual friend's barbecue, where he charmed me with his easygoing nature and boyish grin. He had this effortless way of making everyone laugh, and when he turned that charm on me, I felt like the luckiest woman in the world. He was thoughtful, at least in the beginning. He would text me good morning, surprise me with little gifts, and talk about our future like it was something he genuinely wanted to build together. But slowly something shifted. At first it was subtle. A canceled dinner here, a postponed movie night there. He always had an excuse. Work ran late, he wasn't feeling well, his friends had planned something last minute. I brushed it off because I understood that life could be unpredictable, but then it became a pattern. I started noticing that every time we had plans, something would miraculously come up, and it almost always involved his friends. One evening, I had planned a special dinner at my place, homemade lasagna, candlelight, the works. I had spent the entire day preparing, excited to see him, to have a night that was just ours. But an hour before he was supposed to arrive, I got a text. "Babe, the guys are getting together for a poker night. Haven't seen them in a while. Rain check." I stared at my phone, my heart sinking. It was the third time this month. I could already picture him, laughing with his friends, not giving a second thought to how I was feeling, how much effort I had put into making the night special. I didn't respond right away. I just sat there, the candlelight flickering over the carefully set table, my appetite vanishing. When I finally replied, I tried to be understanding. I get it. Have fun. But deep down, I didn't get it. I didn't understand how he could so easily dismiss me, how he could cancel on me without even a hint of guilt. And yet I told myself I was overreacting. Maybe I was being too needy, too sensitive. But then came my birthday. A day that, to me, meant more than just cake and gifts. It was a day I wanted to spend with the people I loved the most. I had told Mark weeks in advance that I wanted to have a quiet dinner together, just the two of us. Nothing fancy. Just quality time. He had agreed. He had promised. The night before, I reminded him. He smiled and said, "Of course, babe. I wouldn't miss it for the world." The next evening, I dressed up, feeling that familiar buzz of excitement. I had chosen a little restaurant downtown, a place we had both wanted to try for months. But as I was about to leave, my phone buzzed. "Hey, so the guys planned a weekend trip last minute. They're heading out tonight. It's just bad timing, but we can celebrate your birthday tomorrow, yeah?" I read the message over and over, my hands trembling. My chest tightened as anger and sadness warred inside me. I wanted to call him, to demand an explanation, to ask him how he could be so thoughtless. But I didn't. I just sat down on my couch, staring at the wall, wondering if this was what love was supposed to feel like you were always waiting to be chosen, but never quite making the cut. That night, I didn't cry. I didn't even get mad. I just felt empty. The next day, he texted me a cheerful, "Happy birthday, babe. Can't wait to see you tonight." As if nothing had happened. As if his absence the night before hadn't mattered. And I let him take me to dinner, let him kiss my forehead, let him laugh as he told me about his trip like it was just another day. But something had cracked inside me. I started noticing everything after that. How he would always answer his friends' calls immediately, but let mine go to voicemail. How he would make time for last-minute guys' nights, but could never find a moment to plan something with me. How I was the one making all the effort, planning dates, checking in, adjusting my life around his schedule. And then came the night that shattered everything. We had planned a weekend getaway, just the two of us, a little cabin by the lake, something peaceful, something to reconnect. I had booked the place weeks in advance. The night before we were supposed to leave, I called him, excited. "I'll pick you up at noon?" There was a pause. And then he said it. "So the guys just got tickets to this game tomorrow. It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. You don't mind if we reschedule, right?" I felt something inside me snap. I took a deep breath. "Mark, we planned this trip weeks ago. You promised." He sighed, as if I was the one being difficult. "Yeah, but it's just bad timing. You know how much I love this team." I closed my eyes. "Mark, do you even love me?" Silence, and in that silence I had my answer. I exhaled slowly, my heart pounding. You know what? Forget the trip. Forget everything. I hope you and your friends have a great time. I hung up before he could respond. For the first time in months, I felt something other than disappointment. I felt free. The silence after I hung up on Mark was deafening. I sat there, phone clutched in my hand, my heart racing. A part of me expected him to call back, to show up at my door, to finally fight for me the way I had been fighting for him, but the minutes ticked by. Then an hour. Then two. And nothing. That night, as I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, a painful truth settled over me. I had spent so much time making excuses for Mark, justifying his behavior, convincing myself that things would change if I was just patient enough. But love wasn't supposed to feel like this, like a constant battle to be seen, to be valued. The next morning, I woke up to a single text from him. Babe, don't be mad. We can talk later, okay? That was it. No apology, no regret, just a casual brush-off, as if I was just another plan he could push aside and reschedule at his convenience. Something inside me hardened. I didn't respond. Instead, I threw my bag into my car and took that trip to the cabin by myself. At first, the solitude felt strange, like an echo of all the times I had been alone in this relationship. But then, something shifted. As I walked by the lake, breathing in the crisp air, I felt lighter. The weight of waiting for Mark, of hoping he'd finally put me first, was gone. For the first time in a long time, I was doing something for me. I didn't hear from Mark that entire weekend. Not once, and deep down, I knew why. He wasn't used to me standing my ground. He had expected me to cave, to come back like I always did. But this time was different. When I returned home, I found a bouquet of flowers on my doorstep. A small note was tucked inside. I messed up. Let's talk. For a moment, my heart wavered. This was what I had wanted, right? For him to realize his mistakes, to acknowledge the way he had hurt me. But when I held the note in my hands, I felt nothing. No warmth. No hope. Just exhaustion. That night, I called him. Mark, I got your flowers. He sighed in relief. Good. So can we fix this? I swear, I didn't mean to hurt you. It's just... I cut him off. You always have an excuse, Mark. But I'm done being second place in my own relationship. Silence, then a weak chuckle. Come on, Rach. You're overreacting. I closed my eyes, taking a deep breath. No, I'm finally seeing things clearly. And with that, I hung up. For the last time. The next morning, I blocked his number. It hurt, of course. But it was a different kind of hurt. A cleansing one. Because for the first time in 2 years, I wasn't waiting for someone to choose me. I had finally chosen myself. If this story resonated with you, like, comment, and subscribe. Have you ever felt like an afterthought in a relationship? Share your thoughts below. I'd love to hear from you.